So guys, here we are on the East Coast Bypass Road, heading south and then turning west towards Eccles. This is where we are. We're about 3 miles in from the 3 miles in from the East Coast Highway. It's cloudy with signs of showers coming. I can feel a drizzle coming. So that's what it looks like south, north of where we are, towards the East Coast Public Road. It seems as if rains are rolling in. These guys are working on the moving the building materials for the road. That's looking further south towards the intersection point where the road again turns west towards Eccles. And like I said, it's about 75% complete by my estimation. Distance 9 miles. Duration 3 hours 9 minutes 20 seconds. Pace 21 minutes 40 seconds per mile. So we're about 9 miles. I'm about 9 miles into my morning run this morning, and that means I'm more than halfway through. It's going to be about 17 miles by the time I complete the circuit, starting in Georgetown, coming up the East Coast to Ogle, and then turning south into the East Coast Bypass Road, and then heading west to Eccles and back into Georgetown from there. So it's beginning to rain, which is not a bad thing because it's now almost 9 in the morning, and this would be really hot and sunny if it weren't for the rain. So the rain is a good thing. It's a blessing in disguise. So what has happened since the last time we were here? They've actually completed the surface of both sides. So the last time we were here, about 6 months ago or more, you've got to go check the archives to see the last time I did that video where I walked through the entire length of this road. And I like walking rather than driving because, for example, this road is closed to traffic. So if I were driving, I would not be able to get access to this part of the road. But also it brings me very close to the infrastructure. So you can see, for example, I can show you up close how they've attached these street lights. You can see they have breakaway bolts. So it's built on a concrete base, and then they've bolted on the aluminum light pole. And what that means is that if somebody collides into the lamp post, it can break away. Now this has become standard construction design. See that? If somebody collides with this light pole, it will break away at the base, which means that it would prove to be a less damaging and less fatal accident because of that. And so that's what I mean by international standards, right? So this is now an international standard for installing these light posts at on infrastructure on highways, because they've anticipated that somebody might collide with one of these light poles. Somebody might lose control of their vehicle, collide with one of these light poles, and in the event of that happening, you don't want it to be a fatal collision. And that means designing an infrastructure to anticipate this kind of accident and to mitigate the damages as a result of those accidents. Now, that is what is missing from Guyanese designed infrastructure, designing it for safety. But like I said, when I'm walking on the road, I can show you up close some of these features that you will not be able to see if I were simply driving. And that's one of the reasons why I bring you these videos from the streets, from street level, rather than from the air with the drone or from a vehicle driving by. That's one of the ways in which this channel differs from a lot of the other channels that are providing similar content about Guyana on YouTube and elsewhere on social media. But yes, where we are is about 3 miles in from the East Coast Highway. It's now drizzling. It's a cool drizzle. It's kind of a very fine drizzle. Looking back where we've come from, there you can see we've come 3 miles along the East Coast bypass road. The road curves and weaves all the way to the north, and here at this point continues south. This seems to be a U-turn point, a turnaround point, which is another thing that is missing from Heroes Highway. There are no designated U-turn points. But the way you build a U-turn is you actually build a lane that allows you to exit onto the U-turn and then enter onto the highway again in the opposite direction via a ramp, sort of, where you can get up to speed and join the traffic. And that is what is being done here. And I'm quite impressed with this because I've actually seen this in other destinations, other places where these roads, these interstate highways have been built in the US, in Europe, and in Asia, in Malaysia, in Singapore. So this construction, this design meets international standards, and I'm quite happy about that. A lot of the complaints that people are making seem to be political in nature because they don't see that what I'm saying has nothing to do with politics. What I'm doing is demanding that the infrastructure meet international standards. That's all. Whether it's being done by the PNC or the PPP, it matters not to me, because as far as I'm concerned, from my experience, there is no superior, neither one is superior to the other as far as being able to put Guyanese people first and building or managing the country in a way that benefits Guyanese. I don't think either political party is superior. In that respect, they're all full of blind spots. But this is what's happening here. There's a whole lot of construction activity going on. Some of it actually has to do with local development. A lot of this land, for example, on the sides of the road have already been acquired by various parties. I keep talking about the Ahmads, the convicted felon in New York who has acquired a lot of this land to build his, I don't know what he's constructing, but he definitely has acquired some of this land. And some of the construction work that is going on in this neck of the woods has to do with land development, such as what's happening there next door. Okay, it's raining, so I'm getting a little bit of moisture on my